What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tags page by
No intro today. We have breaking news. Hamas Piker found another terrorist organization to support. This is fantastic news. So, according to my tabulations, as the man that has created and popularized the How Effed is Hassan Piker franchise, truly growing in numbers and popularity every single day. People love this franchise so much. I have to say, it is so good to talk about a communist with a Gucci bag. My boy is 450% cooked right now, and we're gonna dive straight into the news. This one's crazy. No time for an intro. Hamas Piker is the biggest leftist political streamer in the world. New York Times wrote puff pieces about him. He is protected by Twitch, and it must be known that no matter what type of terrorist attack happens, Hassan will be there to defend the terrorists. Like, you cannot even make this up. So, I wanted to show you, this is a clip from his newest stream, alright, where Hassan says some pretty wild crap, and I'll fill you in with the details as we go on. He says that Asmongold is a genocidal freak that wants to kill Indians. He has other great clips, like talking about how all Indians are terrorists. So lock in, because we got some classic Hassan updates where he says that he hates Jews. But more importantly today, new terrorists to support, gamers.
Violates the sovereignty of another nation state. So is Russia. A great example of this would be Russia. Any state that violates the sovereignty of another state and strikes civilian targets is a fucking rogue terrorist state.
So this is him referring to India, because currently, in case you were unaware, there is a bit of a war going on, some beef happening between India and Pakistan. If you want, I could give you the entire TLDR before you see this clip, so it'll make this clip sound even worse. So this is Pakistan, all right, and this is India. All right, so currently, India and Pakistan are at war. It all started in 1947 when there was a colossal situation that happened that India and Pakistan ended up becoming two separate countries, and basically, over the last couple of years, there was a gigantic bunch of terrorist attacks that took place in India. In India, there were a ton of terrorist attacks that took place, and a lot of these terrorist attacks, in fact, most of them, from what I understand, were tied directly to the Pakistani government. Now, again, these are claims. These are not evidence as to a lot of these attacks of their direct connections. But for example, just recently, a lot of the actual people in the Pakistani government went to the funerals of the terrorists that committed a terrorist attack in India. So now that you have all this going on, India over here launched a counterattack on Pakistan, trying to take out terrorist infrastructure, and Pakistan is now claiming, I cannot believe India would attack us, and there's basically a war happening right now. I'll fill you in on more details as we go on, but in a nutshell, the super short news version of it is Pakistan has been lying all the time, being like, look, this is a video of us shooting down Indian planes, and it turns out this is just video game footage. Pakistan has been going wild, saying that through a cyber attack, 70% of India's power grid has been inoperative. This is not true. That didn't happen. And also, several Pakistani medias reported that Pakistan launched ballistic missiles against India's capital, which also did not happen. Ironically, none of these things actually happened, but they're claiming it happened, which is crazy. We'll get into more details later. So, this is Hamas Piker, leftist political streamer extraordinaire, one of the biggest, and it turns out, my boy's take on the conflict is pretty wild, because as you know, India hit Pakistan back after multiple terrorist attacks that they linked to Pakistan, where basically I will give you more context as we keep going, but pretty freaking crazy. His response is, India's counterattack makes them a terrorist state.
Violates the sovereignty of another nation state. So is Russia. A great example of this would be Russia. Any state that violates the sovereignty of another state and strikes civilian targets is a fucking rogue terrorist state. She didn't even say India is a terrorist rogue state. I think she just said India is a rogue state. But I would go so far as to say, yeah, they're doing terrorism.
This is like the Hassan Piker playbook. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. There are terrorist attacks confirmed terrorist attacks that take place in India, all right, from Pakistani people that have ties to the Pakistani government. And then India attacks back, and Hassan is like, what a rogue terrorist state thing to do. It is a rogue terrorist state attacking civilians. This is crazy. The Hamas Piker playbook is so based. He never ties terrorist attacks to the actual countries where the terrorist attacks come from. And then anytime anyone literally fights back, rogue terrorist state, it's a genocide, this is crazy.
Also, her analysis on the matter is
I've never been so excited to see hexagons in my life.
Oh no, that's nice. I can actually make a good dungeon out of this now.
Oh my goodness.
So here are the Realm Brew magnetic dungeon tiles.
The majority of dungeon tiles do not warrant a long-form video review, but the majority of dungeon tiles don't have the list of claims that these do.
They're magnetic, you can stick things on top of them, they're dry erase compatible, and they're really fun to build with.
I'm having a great time.
Hi, I'm Hale, and this is Realm Brew. Realm Brew is a complete tabletop mapping system which is infinitely reusable. With Realm Brew's modularity and
putting the BJP guy in a very different light. Like she's coming across way more restrained and way more informed, instead of just simply saying, I don't give a shit that there's no evidence, no direct ties to Pakistan involvement in the terror attack that took place. Who gives a fuck? They've been doing this for 30 years. We have to get blood. Seems a little crazy to say.
I love how, whatever, I want to go through Hassan's logic for this a little bit later. We're going to be looking at his entire video on this. But just like to be clear, he's saying, I don't care that there were multiple terrorist attacks that were based from terrorist organizations that were in Pakistan against Indians over the last 30 years. And now they're attacking back. It's obviously because of Islamophobia.
Especially when you're trying to defend your position in the Western world by presenting yourself as like a reasonable, restrained, sovereign nation state.
And then attack at will and kill civilians, women, children, send them to hospitals in large...
I'm sorry, I'm vehemently anti-Modi and his agenda, but to call India a rogue terrorist state is absolutely incorrect.
All right, so this is like your average leftist guy in the chat. He's like, listen, I'm a leftist just like you, but why would you call India a rogue terrorist state? That's pretty crazy.
I mean, this severe escalation that violates this is a rogue terrorist action, a rogue terrorist state action. That's precisely.
According to Hassan, every time you retaliate against a terrorist, you become a rogue terrorist state. It's like, if it would happen just once, then it could be a coincidence. But if you directly call everyone who retaliates against terrorism a terrorist themselves, remember, he calls America terrorists, he calls Israel terrorists, he calls India terrorists. Anytime anyone retaliates against terrorism, they become the terrorists, according to Hassan. Like, how much more can you align yourself with a terrorist organization?
What that was, what happened, like, just like what Russia has done in Ukraine, makes it a rogue terrorist.
Yeah, but the difference is, from what I understand, Ukraine didn't have terrorist organizations jumping into Russia, murdering random people for not being Muslim, like what happened in India a month ago. For those of you that don't know, in India, there were a bunch of people that I think they murdered 26 people in India, and basically asked them, are you a Hindu or are you a Muslim? And if they said they're a Hindu, they murdered them on the spot. That's what happened a couple of weeks ago in India. So, yeah, it is crazy. It's insane. Face of Twitch and runner-up anti-Semite of the year, Hassan Piker, is calling India a rogue terrorist state in defense for Pakistan. How does this always happen? I don't understand. How does he never have anything not nice to say about the... This is a leftist streamer, okay? He respects women, probably, right? He's leftist. Leftists are supposed to respect women, all right? Like, he literally defends every country in the world that has the least respect for women. And, listen, like, what is going on? This is crazy, bro. Holy shit. Wow. Insanity. anyway, it gets wilder because Donald Trump tweets, after a long night of talks mediated by the United States, I am pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. Congratulations to both countries on using common sense and great intelligence. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So Donald Trump comes out there. He's like, bro, we talked to everyone. We made peace. Peacekeeper has arrived. Fantastic news for the world. Thank you, gigantic orange man. But now you're probably gonna be scratching your head. Can you really trust that a terrorist organization, which kind of started this whole shit, is really gonna keep the peace? So this announcement was made today. Just in, Pakistan violates ceasefire, launches drones against India hours after agreeing to ceasefire. Well, anyway, awkward, that sucks. Anyway, Hassan will support this probably. I'm calling it right now. Hassan's next stream, he's gonna say India's the one that violated the ceasefire. This is just a Nux pre-watch moment. I'm calling it right now. Hassan's next stream, he will say India violated the ceasefire. It's what happens every time. Anywho, so right after they violated the ceasefire in Pakistan,
Dad, don't forget about my new queen.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com? Have I heard of Dix.com?